Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Autism in Action podcast. Today, we've got another very special guest. We've got Dr. Grant with AutPlay Therapy out of Springfield, Missouri. Welcome to the show, Dr. Grant.
Thank you. I mean, it's really, I'm happy to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Well, I can't wait to learn all about what it is that you're doing in your community to help the autism population. If you wouldn't mind, just kind of share what it is, how you work with families, and all about AutPlay Therapy.
Absolutely. I'll try to be succinct here because, I mean, I probably could talk on for hours without taking a pause about this. So I will try to be as succinct as possible. AutPlay Therapy itself is a play therapy approach. It's actually an integrative play therapy approach, family play therapy approach that's focused on helping address the mental health needs of autistic children, neurodivergent children, and their families. And so it's really very, highlighted by the use of the therapeutic powers of play and seminal play therapy theories being integrated in to address the issues that may be coming in to mental health therapy. So that could be a whole range of things. That could be something like a sensory processing challenges, or it could be a trauma issue that the child is dealing with. It could be as simple as the child is struggling with their parents getting a divorce. But, it could be anything. It doesn't necessarily have to mean that they're coming in specifically because they have autism. They could just be coming in for a whole variety of needs. And then we want to be able to understand that how do we address those needs and work with those children who are neurodivergent, because they're not going to process, maybe respond, react, or express the same way as a neurotypical child might that you're used to working with in play therapy. Mm-hmm. And that's why our play therapy really comes in and helps the therapist have this guide and this framework to work with these children and these families.
Well, I know that this is very needed, very, very needed. And how many, are you the only clinician at your practice, or do you have several that are trained in what you're doing?
Yeah, and the main clinic is in Southwest Missouri, and we have 12 mental health professionals here in the clinic. And I believe all of them are trained in AutPlay Therapy, and they all, work with autistic population and other related conditions, issues. And then there are other specialties here too. People kind of have their preferences for other things they like to do as well. And then we have a couple of psychologists who do mainly psychological evaluations and testing. But so here at the clinic, we're very sort of play therapy focused, AutPlay Therapy focused. And then outside of here, there's the opportunity for mental health professionals to be trained in AutPlay Therapy. So we have certified AutPlay Therapy providers, that's what we call them, people who've completed the training all over the United States. And I just counted this a few weeks ago, so I can give this accurate information. 16 other countries. We have certified AutPlay Therapy providers. So I think for mental health professionals, there's a real connection to something that is viable, that does help, that gives them tools and gives them good information, that is play-based and that is focused toward mental health professionals and knows how to kind of integrate and put forth that humanistic side into the therapy work. I think that resonates with a lot of mental health professionals. Yes. And so they really tend to appreciate the training.
How long does the training normally take to go through?
It usually takes about 2 days. If we're in person together, it's 2 pretty long days. It's usually like 2 7 or 8 hour days that we're together, and then additional readings. There's a book that they would read prior to the training, and then there's a short recorded webinar that they would watch prior to the training. And similar experience if they were participating in a webinar training. We've done those since 2020.
Yes.
We've started offering the 2-day webinar. And then there's also a home study, self-paced home study training that people can access just on their own and take their time to go through the material. It's the same information, whether it's in-person webinar or home study. It's just a different format, so people can access it the way that it's going to work best for them.
And that's so needed too, especially this day and age. Our professionals are so busy trying to work-life balance, and everything's gone telehealth, right? So they're on the computer all the time. So it is important to be able to fit that in where they can. About how much would it cost to go through the program to get certified to be an AutPlay therapist?
Typically, it's around $450 US to complete the whole thing. And then it's a lifetime certification. So, you're not expected to renew it every 2 years or anything like that. And that price does fluctuate if there's a third party hosting the training. So oftentimes a third party will just call us and want a trainer to come provide the training. So they're technically the host. So they would set the price. It usually stays around the same, no matter who's doing it, but it might be a little cheaper somewhere or a little more expensive. And then it changes greatly if you're in another country because of all the conversion rates and all of that.
Right.
So people just have to check that out. But yeah, we try to make it affordable for what they get. And then they always have the option of following up with supervision or consultation anytime they want. It's not required, but it's there. If they want to even just set up a one-time consultation because they're having a lot of questions about a particular child, we can do that. And then in our home study trainings, there's a lot of other jump-off topics. There's a 6-hour training on using AutPlay with trauma issues in autistic children. And there's one that's focused more on sensory processing issues. So just some jump off topics if people have a special sort of interest that they can continue on their training. Again, it's not required. It's just optional if that fits their needs.
Well, that's a great bonus there, because I think that's very helpful to have that one-on-one support. And too, with knowing that, you guys do have the supervision and consultation available, that's, I think, re-encouraging to be able to participate in the AutPlay Therapist certification program. So.
Yeah, I love that part, actually. I think it's just so, regardless, I mean, even if we weren't talking about AutPlay or autism, if you and I were just LPC chatting, it's just so beneficial to have access to supervision consultation, because we all just run into that sometimes, right?
Oh,
we
yeah.
Need to run by another person.
And when you've met one person with autism, you have truly met that one person with autism. And I know who said that quote, but I don't have it written in front of me.
Dr. Stephen Shore.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Stephen Shore. So, and every case is unique, and every case does have its own challenges and own needs.
Yes.
So it's important to address those. Is there anything else at all that you would like to share with our listeners today about AutPlay Therapy and what you do?
Well, I'm a big fan of it, obviously. I just, started out, having this love and heart, which I still have for play therapy. I just think it's the best thing out there for children. And I just really felt passionately that those therapeutic powers of play could also be used to help autistic and neurodivergent kids in ways that I just wasn't seeing that happening when I kind of put all this protocol together. So hopefully other people can feel that way too, if they dive into this. It doesn't mean that it replaces something else like occupational therapy or speech therapy. Oftentimes I'm working with those professionals in collaboration if those needs are there. But it definitely gives you a great tool if you're a mental health professional to really address the mental health needs. I'm dealing with a lot of things like low self-worth and self-esteem, depression, anxiety, trauma, I mentioned, getting bullied at school.
Yes.
So many of these things that go really deep for a lot of our kids. And that's really the thing I love being able to help them with and help them navigate and understand and really heal from.
Yes.
And then, of course, we involve the parents a lot. That's a big part. I love parents. Parents are partners. They're co-change agents in this process. And that's really important. So if anybody has any questions, I guess, just check out the website and feel free to email us because we're happy to answer questions and give more information. I guess on the parent side, I should mention this, on the website, there is find a certified AutPlay Therapy provider. So if a parent was watching and they thought this might be a good fit for us, they could go there and look up by state and see if there was anyone around them that they could call and talk to more.
And your website is www.autplaytherapy.com.
Yes.
And what's the best email for them to get in touch with you guys?
Really easy. info at autplaytherapy.com.
Well, Dr. Grant, I just want to say thank you so much for taking the time to be here today and share what you're doing with all of our listeners.
Thank you. And thank you for taking your time to offer this podcast. Lots of other great topics on here. So if somehow you're just finding this for the first time, go check out all the podcasts in the Autism in Action podcast series because there's a lot of information there.
Thank you so much.